Welcome to Reading the Green and our golf DFS show. We got golf, beer, other stuff. It's just Jordan and I tonight. This is Mike. No Kyle, which is good because then we get, not good because we lose a lot of like actual golf content, but we gain some other fun topics. So I'm excited. Jordan, how you doing?
Good. Already a little tuned up for this, so you better watch out.
I know that I missed, that's what I missed all of January. You didn't have tune-up beers. And I remember now that in the summer, when you get your league going on Tuesdays, when we record, you usually come in after like 4 or 5. So
yeah, it's great. I mean, I did golf 18 holes today. I didn't even tell you that earlier.
Oh man, where at?
The simulator. Casa,
well, I know, but
Casa de Campo.
Oh, okay, all right. Was that Dominican or Mexican?
Dominican, yeah.
Dominican,
yeah. Dog.
Yeah, that's what it is. Teeth of the dog.
Shot an 84. It wasn't my best day. I had an 8. I had an 8 on the course.
That hurts on simulator golf. Let me. Okay. So we got a lot of stuff to get to, right? We got the Pebble Beach recap. We got the Waste Management Phoenix Open preview. A couple other topics before we get into golf, but now this is off script because you bring up simulator golf. So I've been sending you my scorecards. I've been having some real nice simulator rounds at Pebble and at Torrey Pines, and you and I at our clubs, the software is the same. It's HD Golf, but when I go with my dad, which I did this weekend, we played 9 holes or so, and he's got his club. They got the full TrackMan deal, and it's so realistic that it's really hard. Like the HD Golf, it's a perfect lie. It doesn't no matter where you hit it, you just kind of hit the same chip shot every time, because if you try to hit a little bump and run, it doesn't register, so on and so on. But like TrackMan, depending on your lie, it will adjust your power. So if you're in the rough, it'll say 75% of your power. So you actually have to club up out of the rough. And then chipping is very realistic with the spin. So I did not send you my scorecard from, I think we were playing at Sea Island Plantation. I did not send you my scorecard because it was not as good.
Yeah. And so we have an HD Golf and a TrackMan, and my TrackMan was my 84 today because it's way more realistic than HD Golf. Right. It's hard to not break par. It's just easy.
Yeah, and plus on TrackMan you can turn on like the simulated putting, and so you'll like randomly 3-putt from 15 feet, and you're just like, what the hell? Come on.
Yes, I did that. I 2-putted from 57 feet and 3-putted from 21 feet today. but then
you'll like sink like a 20-footer for par to. So, all right. Well, like I said, since Kyle's out here, we're going to talk about swag a little bit, because I was scrambling today to get signed up for Swag Series, and I didn't even get signed up because I couldn't get it done. But we'll have another shot at it in a week or so. But so they're doing what, a dozen events around the country. That's just gonna you pay a pretty penny to get in, but you get hooked up with some sweet stuff, and you get to play for a little cash.
Yeah, they took over, I don't know, anyone's AGT Golf Series, is what it's been known previously. And Swag was always one of the sponsors, and now this year they are the sponsor. So they just rebranded it the Swag Series. And I'm assuming that means they're going to come out with some cooler stuff in the Swag box. I've heard they run pretty great tournaments. They do. If you win, you automatically get to go to Big Cedar in the fall for free and play in their like national championship of the series, which is what Mike and I are going to do.
Well, I mean, what you're getting in me, and this is what I hope. I mean, I don't know. I think we have a shot in net and gross. I mean, to be honest, like by the time September rolls around, if I'm like a 4 or 5 handicap,
it helps that it's September and not May.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm guessing the crowd is going to be interesting.
Yes.
Maybe meet a few of these folks that we've been talking to in Discord and all that. But I think the crowd will be interesting. But it'll be fun. I mean, it's at the Meadows here in the Twin Cities. They got some good courses on their national rotation. So
Yeah, that's the one disappointment is that like it's at the Meadows here, right? Like
They
there
could
are
have
a
got
lot
a
of
they could have got a higher end place maybe.
yes,
I
yes,
never
yes.
I never actually played there, so
That's the same. We'll have to get a practice round in this year.
okay. All right. I know my neighbor likes to go down there because he says no one's ever down there. So all right. Well, I look forward to that. I think it'll be super fun, and hopefully we get some sweet stuff out of it. The other thing that came up with Swag this week was they announced a partnership with PointsBet. Like they're like big time now. Like PointsBet's a big deal. I don't know exactly what they're gonna do, but
Yeah, and even
I
I was
guess
just
points.
Googling it, and like the press release page on PointsBet's website said it wasn't valid. Like it was an invalid link that I got off of Google. So
Oh, so maybe this isn't even real.
yeah.
They just got spoofed. Um,
Uh, no, I'm excited to see. I don't know what it is. PointsBet's the exclusive global gaming partner of Swag, but I don't know. Like
they haven't really
Swag's
done
not
any
that big.
gaming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if Swag was the exclusive like head cover brand of PointsBets or something, it'd be make one something, but it's we'll see. See what
Well,
this turns into.
I don't I can't think of it. Other I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago for the Sony Open when I scored my hibiscus head covers, which I was super pumped about. The next big like drops will be in April for their anniversary drops, and then the Masters. What
You're
else?
miss
Oh,
you're
President's Day.
well, you're missing this week.
Party cactus.
No, they're recycled.
Oh, is that this? That's this
That's
week.
that's this week.
Where?
I don't
What
know
have I been
why
doing?
they must be having some technical difficulties because they haven't previewed any pictures or anything. They usually build it up as much as they can, but this is maybe the most exclusive release of the year. It's all lottery based. It's not skill based like Mike and I. So Mike got it
Rewind.
last year.
Rewind 1 year. This
Yeah,
was
this was what got you hooked.
the second head cover, right? Because I think I hit the they do the swag press for this week was the Pebble Beach, and so I think I hit that and did a nice flip, and I was like, well, that's fun. And then I put in for the lottery and got a recycled blade that you guys were like really ripping on me for how lucky I was, and I had no. And yes, it cleared several digits.
We rip on you because all you do is talk about how unlucky you are and how lucky everyone else is.
Specifically you, but yes,
you were one of 100 people out of there's probably 8 to 10,000 people that put in for 300 spots, and Michael won.
Right. Yeah. Well, 1 year later, I think I now appreciate just how ridiculous that was, and I don't know. I'll be grateful if I hit it again.
Hopefully, you hit again.
All right. Well, okay. So thinking about the swag series, the tournament that we're going to play in later in September, talking a little bit about handicap management. Do you have any tips then for the season this year on how to maintain a bogus handicap?
Play by yourself a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Don't read the green when you go to putt.
Drink many cocktails.
Cocktails help. And I mean, just put in fake scores. Just be Aaron Rodgers.
It's fascinating. First of all, I mean, yes, you ended up where I wanted to go. And I know this was like overplayed on social media the last couple of days, but I sent you guys the Keith Mitchell interview when he first did it, because he like so perfectly deadpans the reporter when he's just like, yeah, his handicap is crap. We won that golf tournament. like this isn't just like some schlub that showed up at your member guest that you're just gonna like hate for the rest of your life. I'm sure you have people in mind that you just are like, that guy's an idiot. I hope I never see him again. Yeah. Like Keith Mitchell is calling out Aaron Rodgers for just scamming the biggest member guest of the year besides like the McManus. So, but I mean, social media was all over it. He's a 3 handicap in gin, and he's.
How does that happen? How does Pebble Beach just like you fill out a form and you put it in? You think that it's
you want to know what I think?
What's that?
I think he played. I think he played 1 round since training camp last year. So like since last July, he played 1 round of golf. I think he probably complained. I think when he signed up, he's like, look, I've played one round of golf in the last 9 months. I'm not a 3. You got to give me 10. And he just whined about it like Aaron Rodgers whines about everything, like he's yelling for a roughing the passer flag. And they said, fine, Aaron, we'll make you a 10. And then he goes out and shoots like, 72 every day.
Yeah, it was pretty unbelievable that they won. You know what his partner shot, right?
He was like what, like +1 for the week
Plus
or
one.
+2? Yeah.
Their team was -26 and the pro was +1.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and now he's gonna go sit in a freaking dark room for 4 days and decide if he wants to play football anymore.
I know.
What
it's
a nutter. What a nutter.
All right. Well, maybe he could go join. I'm sure could you imagine Aaron Rodgers on a promo video for Live Golf in what those yahoos were doing? Just getting, Bryson playing the guitar on his Cobra driver and guys brushing their shoulders.
It's like
cringy.
Just trying so hard.
There was a couple of good tweets in response to that, and it was like people were, the best one I probably saw was like, yeah, when those guys are taking money, I would say, yep, there's a lot that I would do for $100 million. now I'm rethinking that.
So two comments on Live, and then we can move on. One, like, how badly do you not want to be drafted by Phil Mickelson?
I know
they don't really draft, but like the worst team captain, right? Like, he is there because
he's the worst golfer.
He was good 10 years ago, and now you're on his team, and you're gonna have to carry your big name golfer.
Mm-hmm.
They might finish last.
Mm-hmm.
This year. And now I totally brain farted.
Well, the only two guys not in that video were Cam and DJ. The two best players that are like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. No, thank you.
All right. Well, what are you drinking in your glass?
Oh, delicious. Maybe a top 10 beer here, Mike. You have to go find it, or I've got 2 left. Drekker and Barrel Theory did a collab, Joker in the Pack double IPA. It is freaking delicious. Let me see, what does it say? It is Nectarin, Citra, Nelson Sauvin, Strata hops, and it's super light. Like, it's but it is
pretty yellow. Yeah.
Fantastic, and it's 8%, so we won't be getting.
That's just what you needed.
We won't be getting more sober during this. Drinks tonight have been beer, wine, then a vodka, and now this. So we're going for the scramble.
So in like college, they say whatever, liquor before beer, you're in the clear, whatever. I mix alcohol all the time now. It doesn't matter. And maybe I don't drink, maybe I'm not drinking as much at one time in college, but like, I don't like even discriminate what goes first.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was when you had 6 beers followed by 6 Long Islands. And now you drink 2 beers and have 2 wines. And you're like, oh, I'm drunk. I'm going to bed. Yes.
Fair enough. I have Junkyard Werewolves at Luncheon. This is solid. They have it out every now and then, and they call it a Vermont style IPA, which I think is supposed to like be like Heady Topper or whatever, like some of the original New England IPAs, but specifically like those, like trying to recreate that. But I think it's really good.
I wondered that as I was drinking that a couple of months ago. I was like, I don't know what a Vermont style is, but it's going.
I mean, that's where like the Alchemist is one of the original, New England IPAs, and they're based in Stowe or whatever. So.
Nice.
All right, Pebble Beach. Not much to say here. I will say I was pretty down on the tournament over the weekend. Like, it was becoming very uninteresting.
Yeah.
But I tell you what really saves that is letting them finish on Monday during the workday. and I'll always watch the back nine of a PGA Tour event during the workday. So that really turned it around for me. I'm just not a huge Justin Rose fan. Like
it wasn't even interesting enough for me to stream it on Monday.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it really was. I mean, he eventually got up by like 3, and it was just like, okay, I guess it's just a crowning, but good for him, I guess.
Yeah, well, I even read I think it was a Golf Digest article about how to bring it back, right? And they interviewed tour pros and stuff, and they're just like, I don't need to go golf 6-hour rounds. They talk about how a lot of good golfers used to go there to, do the non-golf events and get contracts and right because there's all these big
like good
CEOs and everything there. And then they quoted an anonymous golfer, a former top 10 player, was like, I had been there 10 years in a row and I had 0 deals out of it. So I said, screw that. I'm not going back.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I'm sure back in the Bing Crosby days, like it was more of this like who's who in the golf and in media world. And I think now it's just like the celebrity golf isn't really even that interesting. Like it was funny, like the Bill Murray shtick was funny like 15 years ago, but like,
was he there this year? I didn't see him once.
I think he was. But that's the thing. It's like the TV does, and then they had like Will Arnett and Jason Bateman, and like those guys they're funny. They got their podcasts, whatever, and they don't get any airtime. And instead, you spend the whole time watching like Jake Owen, and I don't know.
It's because
the celebrity piece doesn't do it for me. It sounds like they doesn't do it for the pros either. So.
Yeah, when they do the celebrity, like now it's like featured groups, right? Or like like the featured groups shouldn't be. I don't need to watch Spieth and Ryan Palmer for 3 days straight. They were the featured group all 3 days because it was, Jake Owen and I don't even know who Palmer's partner was. Right, like have it be Bill Murray and Bateman be the featured group.
Yeah.
Like that, I would watch.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I agree with you. I mean, it sounds like everybody's just kind of done with it. So
they will. The one interesting thing was they actually complained about the course. Like, Pebble's great, but like the greens suck because they're POA and they're tiny, and they get walked on a shit ton. So like by Saturday and Sunday, it's just footprints everywhere. So that was the only one that wasn't just like boo the event. It was like, oh, people are ripping on Pebble Beach. Like,
too.
It's a sort of public course.
I still would like to golf there. Not gonna lie.
Yes.
You see the overhead shots of like 6, 7, and 8, and you're just like, how is golf played on that little piece of land sticking out in the water? Like that's like the coolest thing ever. And the thing that sucks is that you're going to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to do that, and that moment is over in 45 minutes, and you can hit 3 terrible shots and be super sour. So boy, you really got to keep your head up if you're out there.
I will say,
right, well,
we did talk about it's $25,000 to play in the AM part of the Pro-Am tournament there, and like maybe if this podcast blows up, and the 3 of us can drop $75,000 to play out there, like that would be worth it. Like just the experience and the crowds versus like most Pro-Ams, right? It's one day. It's Wednesday where no one is watching. Like this, to have a chance at being on TV and watching them blade me something into the ocean, that'd be great.
That would be Kyle blading them into the ocean.
Yeah, it would be. Sure.
All right. Well, DFS wise, we'll do a very quick rundown so we can talk about the waste management. Listener League, Jordan, congratulations. It's been a while since I think we've had someone from RTG on top, so congrats on your Listener League.
Wait, I
won? Come on. Didn't you?
You just told me 10 minutes ago that the listeners won.
Or that's name game, man. You're behind. Didn't you win the Listener League?
Oh, Listener League. I got them. Sorry, I just wanted you to, I wanted to hear it twice. I wanted to hear it twice.
There you go. Yeah, Listener League, good job.
It was the only one that I had, only of all my entries that I had 6 people make it through, and I still almost lost to someone that had 5.
Well, Andy Dinguez gets second, and then Rock Chalk MN, which for some reason I cheer against him. every time, and I think it's the Kansas connection. I don't know why. Great guy in real life. It's the Kansas thing. Finishes in third.
Totally valid. You were in third for a while, and then
yeah, I had a rough week.
Sunday really hurt you.
The model, you know what? We'll admit we're not perfect. Some weeks we have bad weeks. When 50% of your model player pool misses the cut, you're not going to have a good week. And this week was one of those weeks. So we're looking to bounce back. I will give some shout outs to Landon Selensky and his picks on DK Nation were our top contributor, our top expert of the week. Gutsiest play, Peter Malnati by Jeff Ulrich. Peter Malnati, he was really getting hated on Twitter for his ridiculously short drives. Lots of 240, 250 off the tee, and people are really hating on that. So I got a good kick. Got a good kick out of that. Would you like to comment? Do you have the one and done results handy?
I think
someone had Justin Rose, right?
Yeah, normally I pull this up and I forgot to. One person picked Justin Rose and won $1.6 million. All right. Oh yes, and it was Champles, the guy that got me into swag. Mr. Champles was the one that got me into swag, and he won. Picked Justin Rose. After that, we had a few Keith Mitchells, one Victor Hovland. But man, Champles took a $1.3 million. Uh-oh, guys. We just lost Mike.
No, I'm back.
Mike's back.
Technical difficulties, can't escape him.
Mike's back. Now he got $1.3 million for the tournament, above anyone else, and unsurprisingly is in first place with 2.1 million.
And that's what I think we're learning about this, especially early in the year. You can't sweat missing cuts or missing picks or anything like that, because one win and you're back on top. That'll shake out here with the elevated events, but
yeah. So we've got quite a spread. We've got people that are 4 of 4 on cuts and only have $300,000.
Mm-hmm.
And we have people that are, where's the highest? 2 of 4 that have $400,000. So someone's made 2 cuts and has more money than someone that's made 4. So it's really about picking the right ones. Did I lose you again? Mike. Well, team. Now you're just stuck listening to me, which means we have no prep. We've got nothing. So we'll move on from one and done, and we will start to talk about the model. Kyle's going to listen to this tomorrow and is going to laugh his ass off. Oh, there's Mike. Mike's back.
I will be perfectly honest that I've been having the same issue in my real job. And so we're going to limp through this, and Jordan, you might just own the rest of the show. We'll see.
Could you hear me there? I was getting ready to start discussing the model this week.
I couldn't hear you. No.
This is gonna be
I think it's gonna just die.
Listen to this. Come back and listen to this when you're making the release version, because I was ready to go. Oh, he froze again. All right. Well, Mike's dead to me. So model this week, it's actually really spread out, which is not surprising because of 19 of the top 20 golfers are playing this week. We only have 3 players that are above 40% mention share. First one being Rory. Rory's at the top, 9 mentions, 52% mention share. Can't go wrong with Rory here. Unless he misses the cut, then you're going to go wrong with him. But then the other 2 that are above 40% are Tom Kim with 8 mentions and Colin Morikawa with 7. All good options, but Rory's 10,800. Tom Kim's only 9,100. The interesting thing about this tournament with that many good players, you can get good players for not very much money. You go down, Max Homa, 9,900, all the way down. Tom Hoagie's at 7,500. Ricky Fowler is $500 more than Tom Hoagie. In what friggin' world is that an acceptable number? I know Ricky has been playing a little better, but Tom Hoagie's been great for the last year and is still $500 cheaper. Brian Harmon, $7,400. It's an interesting. This is our first elevated event of the year, so we'll have to see how it goes. Lots of people playing at numbers that we're not used to seeing them. And
hey, Jordan, I'm here. I'm here on audio.
Welcome back. I just walked people through the top of the model, top 3 guys above 40%, and then a few just salary, like talking about how there's, with 19 of the top 20 players or whatever it is, you can get some pretty good people for fairly cheap. And I mentioned Tom Hoagie at 7,500, or Ricky Fowler at 8,000. Like, that's not even a question, right?
I don't know. I mean, Tommy and I, he's been letting me down, and Ricky's been playing great. But your point about soft pricing, like, you're right. You get to have you can build some really fun lineups. The problem is, as I thought about it, like, any one of these guys can win this golf tournament. So, like, it's really hard to choose from, like, the top 20 players on the salary board. Any one of those guys can win. How are you supposed to choose 2?
That's, I don't know if we're ready to get into picks yet, Mike, but
yeah, go ahead. Tell me where you lean this week.
My picks align with that, is where, like, I'm avoiding the super expensive people. My top price point is Tom Kim at 9,100, which also means, like, I've got no one below 7,300. So I want really good players that are cheap for this week, which shouldn't normally be, hoping one of them comes up to win. So we got Tom Kim. Let's see here. Sahith, great here last year. I know, so we know he's good on the course. 8,500. I'll take that for Thagala.
Yeah.
Cam Young, 8,900. Cam Young is Cam Young. I think TPC courses in general probably set up well for him. And then my 2 longer shots from the model are JT Poston and Chris Kirk at 7,300, which, if those are your 2 long shots for that price point, I think I'm fairly okay for the week, which is fun. It left me, Mike, with $8,900 left. There's not a lot in that range, so I went semi off model and went Sam Burns. He's 8,600.
I see a lot. I mean, there's a lot of love for Sam Burns this week. I mean, not yet in the model, but I've seen a couple of good takes.
I just, at that price range and what was around him, like, you're not going to give up $1,500 in cash and go get someone at, 7,500 or something like that. So I was in on Sam Burns.
That's a pretty rock solid lineup. I mean, I like your anchors as JT Poston, a guy that can, he can certainly pop. He's getting a lot of love this week so far at 35% of the mentioned share and 84 on the power index. And so a lot of guys like him, especially at that price point. Yeah, it's interesting how, like, you really shouldn't have to dip into the 6Ks this week unless you want to load up on Rory or John Rahm. And I mean, frankly, like, those 2 guys have been far and away the best golfers of the last 4 months. And so it's very easy to believe that one of them is going to win this week. But, like, to your point, take your chances and have it be somebody else. Like, there's no reason that, your guy Tom Kim can't pull it off.
Nope.
And
with DFS, I don't need the winner, right? One and done. You want the winner.
No.
DFS, I don't need the winner. I want, top 5s, top 10s. Hell, I won the RTG league and my top person was tied for 13th. But everyone else made the cut. And then you win some money.
There you go. Well, I also like some guys fading the top a little bit. Colin Morikawa and Xander Schauffele are two guys that I might even pair them up together. I'm sure they'll both be a little chalky. Xander certainly has, last 5 events here, he hasn't finished outside of the top 17, I believe. And Colin has shown a lot of elite ball striking, as he normally does, but shown a lot of elite ball striking already this year. That's one of the things about TPC Scottsdale is it rewards ball strikers tee to green. If you look, I think I was listening to Rick Gaiman's podcast. This course ranks as a top 15 course for ball striking in all 4 ball striking categories: off the tee, approach, around the green, and driving distance. And you can get away with being a slightly weaker putter. But I'm sure those guys will draw a lot of attention, especially Morikawa, giving his sub 10K pricing. I like one of these guys as my one and done pick for the week. This is an elevated event, so we talk about, getting a little more payoff for your one and done picks. I like one of those guys as a one and done pick this week. Still got to sit on that a little bit. I'll also back you on Poston. If he's going to get a lot of love from our experts, and I'm sure more of that will come in, $7,300. Like, I would love, and even like you said, Chris Kirk, Keith Mitchell's been playing great too at 7,400, also at 30% of our mentioned share right now. So lots of really good options in the low 7,000s should let you do just about whatever you want with the star power.
I will say I missed Keith Mitchell in the model, and like watching him play on Sunday, the front 9 of their 4th round Sunday afternoon, the dude was just fucking striping it. Like, and when he missed it,
I learned that his nickname is Cashmere Keith because he's a fancy dude. He's super articulate. I've heard him on a couple of podcasts, and he is a professional, and he really knows the business of being a PGA Tour professional. And that gave me a little more respect for him. Other than that, I would have just thought he was like some Southern bro that I really didn't care for. But
yeah, he does look.
He looks with the visor and all.
He looks the part of a Southern bro. Even just his DraftKings picture. I'm now looking at it. I'm like, oh, nice side comb and chubby cheeks. Yeah, you are. Did he go to Georgia or Alabama?
I think you went to Georgia. I actually think you went to Georgia. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, there's, like you said, a lot of really good options in the low 7Ks, and that should keep you out of the 6K range. I would think.
Yep, there we go. So I'm updated picks off of Chris Kirk onto Keith Mitchell. I just saw he had 16 of 18 greens in the final round at Pebble, and those greens are tiny. And then he also made no putts. So, like, if he could make a few putts, he could go real low.
Well, I'll be curious to hear who Kyle's gonna go for this week, just with given all the options. I think if you were to look at tiers gets really interesting, and I'm probably gonna have the same problem in tiers that I'm gonna have a little bit on the cash or GP piece, the classic side. And that's tier 2. So all these guys that are bunched up in this $9,000 range, essentially, like, how do you pick between them? How do you pick between Schauffele, Cantlay, Homa, Thomas, and Finau? Like, the one guy that, like, even though he's charting out as our top power index play right now, JT's been very average this year, but also like a $9,800 JT is pretty cool. Even $9,500 Cantlay.
But
like,
see,
you're
getting confused here, Mike. We're in tiers, so they all cost the same.
I understand, but like you're right. I know, but like I got to pick between one of those guys, and like they're just, I don't know. They're all so good, and I think our model right now has them ranking pretty even. So I don't know. I'm really high on Schauffele this week. I think it's.
What are your thoughts on Finau? Right, played well here before.
He's had success here,
which is why he's expensive. I would say he's probably not expensive because of how he's been playing. Like, he hasn't been playing bad, but I wouldn't put him as the 4th.
I would probably take. Yeah, I agree. Tiers. I mean, I probably won't have a lot of Finau this week, and from tier 2, there's a number of other plays I'd go to. I probably will be on Schauffele in tier 2. I also would consider Cantlay. But then from a salary standpoint, I don't need to pay 10-1 for Tony when I can have any of those other guys in the 9K range with just as much upside and save, anywhere from $500 to $1,000.
Yep. Yeah, I was agreed. I think Tony as a one and done pick isn't bad because price range doesn't matter. The one area that the reason I brought him up here was tiers. Is he the fifth
pivot?
Like pivot, right? Like of these four, like Shoffley, JT, Homa, probably the top three owned because of name recognition and recency bias. Cantlay hasn't done much lately. Same with Finau, but I feel like people just pick Finau because they like Finau, which is probably me most of the time. Like, is he if you wanted to pivot, my tiers, I think I had someone at like 87% last week.
Honestly, I think the guy that is the pivot in this tier is Cantlay. Cantlay has not played much this early this year. I think he played at the Tournament of Champions. I think his floor is really high. He scores a lot of fantasy points. He's usually in the mix, doesn't miss a lot of cuts. I think Finau will get the clicks because of his history, and he's been a little more front and center. But I actually think Cantlay might be the pivot.
Also, Finau will probably be the number one person on the tiers list, right? Because he's the highest salary.
People like to just click whoever scored the most fantasy points. I think it goes by. I think it's sort of who scores the most fantasy points. So you're right. There's probably some lazy folks that will just click the first guy.
Yep.
All right. Well, you tried to jump ahead and talk about the name game, and you were right. The listeners did win the name game again. Kyle coming up in last place in our name game, but the listeners with the duo of Joel Damon and Brandon Wu, mostly carried by Brandon Wu, having a good week. I really thought I was sneaky with giving myself 3 players. But Kyle was right. Anytime you put James Hahn on your card for the week, you're going to struggle. And I ended up coming up about 17 points short. So I just slipped further down the standings. And now Kyle and I are both trailing the listeners. And this is a problem. So, Jordan, you helped. It is. This is what I said. I feel like we need to have a wager for the hosts that can't beat the listeners. They're not even like playing. We're just giving them picks. Can't beat them in name game. So here, we're going to go the opposite direction this time. We're going to go with a game that you came up with because I was struggling. And that is a trio of Monday qualifiers. And so we're each going to pick one of the 3 Monday qualifiers, which Kai was trying to convince me that like I should have been watching, if I could, the Monday qualifier for the Phoenix Open versus the final round of the Pebble Beach. I was like, I mean, I know it's like interesting, but it's not that interesting.
Yeah, agreed.
So all right, I'm gonna give you first pick since you're here. I'm gonna give you first pick of the group of Andre Metzger, Dalton Ward, Brett White, all 3 of who qualified at the Monday qualifier for the Phoenix Open, and then something called Michael Hopper, who I think is a local pro that is in the field this week. So you have 4 players to choose from, and they're all priced at 6,100 or 6,000. So good luck.
They are all trash pandas. But I told you I have a connection to one of them. He normally plays on the Dakota Tour, which is in South Dakota and North Dakota. Yeah, woo, crazy. Winning $500 purses at a time. But Andre Metzger plays in the tournament that's in my hometown almost every year. So I am picking him. And he's the one
We're talking about the Invitational, right, that you play with your brother in?
No, there is the Hillcrest Pro-AM that is a Dakota Tour stop that he plays in. And he also won the qualifier. I think it was 7 or 8 under. So he's coming in hot and ready to go.
I like that pick. I mean, tough to make a call at a $6,000 guy, but I like that pick.
Yeah, well, especially let's make the picks and then let's talk about the qualifier.
All right, I'm gonna go, since I'll take second pick here. I'm gonna go with Brett White. And again, I know nothing about Brett White. I saw some activity on Twitter of people anxiously waiting to see if the score he posted was going to make it in, and his wife was tweeting, and so some respect for the guy, and so I'm going to back Brett White this week.
Love it. Great pick.
So what do you think? Do we give Kyle Dalton Ward or Michael Hopper?
Kyle gets the other qualifier.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
There we go. And the listeners will take this thing called Michael Hopper. All right. Tell me about the qualifier and what actually happened.
No, I just like all the names on there. I know it was hurt a little bit by the Monday finish of the Pebble Beach. I looked through the list. There are a lot of withdrawals that were still playing in Pebble Beach, and I'm sure they were not overly happy about that. But it's just like this. Is this the biggest maybe Monday qualifier? Right, I know US Open does like a huge thing and whatnot, but the list of golfers, I don't have it in front of me right now, but it was a who's who of mediocre PGA Tour players.
Sure. All right.
You've heard a lot of the names before. And then this guy, which I just found, Golf Channel did a little special on him today. Mini Tour legend beats odds to earn spot in the hometown Waste Management Open. Do you want some Andre Metzger stats?
Sure.
14 wins on the Dakotas Tour. Right, Dakota's Tour legend. I don't know if he's won the Hillcrest Pro-Am. I'll have to look that up because Mark course was pretty difficult. This is his second PGA Tour start. Can you guess what his first one was, Mike?
Boy. Andre Metzger's first peak.
There's a connection, which is why I'm asking you.
I know, but there aren't any PGA Tour events that are played in North Dakota or South Dakota. So
where is the closest PGA Tour event?
Well, I think it's the 3M.
Correct, the 2022 3M Open. He Monday qualified for it and then missed the cut.
Oh wow!
And in his free time, he works as a pizza delivery driver and is also a caddy at Whisper Rock in Scottsdale, which is a super fancy male only golf course.
Yeah, so sounds like he's a Scottsdale junkie, so that should set up well for him.
Yeah. He's also had 27 career Korn Ferry Tour starts. And when the stat is how many starts you've had, not how well you've done, it's not a good sign.
So this is a life, right? Like, and I know we can kind of transition out of the Phoenix Open content, but like this is a life, and these guys are sleeping in their cars and they're emptying their bank accounts and they're just hoping for a good stretch of golf. And it's no surprise. I mean, maybe this is a big break. You never know. And it's just no surprise that all of a sudden these guys are back in the towns they grew up in and they're working whatever jobs they can get. And I guess I have a number of guys that come to mind that went and got graduate degrees, kind of did the kind of struggling pro golfer thing for few years, and then went and got graduate degrees and now have real solid corporate jobs. And I think that offers they had a lot of foresight in just understanding that the golf life is hard. And I don't know. I certainly never really aspired to that. And, but I've seen a lot of people from my past go through it, and, it's not all kind of celebrity status like we think of it on TV.
Yeah. Yes, those are the few and far between, for sure.
Well, you sent around the James Piot article, the interview in Golf Digest, which he didn't really disclose a whole lot, but even that kid who had a ton of promise, even he's looking at it like the live offer of like, I don't know if I'm ready for the grind that is being a PGA Tour pro. And I'm not saying I think the right decision, but I don't blame someone for thinking.
For him, I would say it was, because reading between the lines of that whole article, there was a lot of talk. Like, he didn't seem like he was actually that good, right? Like,
Yeah,
he shouldn't.
he won the USAM,
but he literally was like, I shouldn't have won it. But
yeah.
like, the stars aligned and I won it, right? It wasn't like he was a John Rahm or someone who was dominating college golf and then won the USAM. He was a pretty good college golfer who got on a hot streak and won the USAM and parlayed that into a ton of money.
It's a good point.
Right?
Like, the USAM is match play, and I mean, the two things about match play is, one, you can do a lot of things in match play that you wouldn't do in a normal stroke play event, and two, it's all about who you play and when you play them. And you're right. So it is possible to more or less stumble upon a victory in a match play tournament.
Yeah. Well, and you still have to, there's qualifying rounds for the match play, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he said in there, his goal was to make match play. Right? Like, his goal wasn't to win it. And that's, so that's where one of these things of like, okay, yeah, so I get it. You don't want to do the grind because you probably weren't going to make it. Right? Like, I would cash out for that type of thing too. Right? Like, smart man.
Arguably, you and I both did in our early consulting careers.
Yes. You are correct.
Can I ask you one more question? This is non-golf related now. This is Super Bowl week. We've gone the whole week without Super Bowl week. Do you have what are your thoughts? Do you have a Super Bowl prediction? I know you're hosting your big Super Bowl Squares deal, so I look forward to getting in on that. But do you got a prediction for the actual football?
Yeah, well, you said you were going to buy 10 or 20 squares, right?
I'm going to buy 2, and I got to get to it.
What? You talk a big game, Mike. You talk a big game. But yes, if any listeners want to get in on Super Bowl Squares, hit us up. You can join. My pick is whoever's playing the fucking Eagles. Because the Eagles suck. Their fans suck. I actually like Jalen Hurts. I think Devonta Smith is good. A.J. Brown. But man, Eagles fans suck through and through. If you aren't from Philadelphia, no one roots for you. Right? Like, basically every other team has someone that roots for them outside of their home region. Right? Like, even the Patriots, there are people all over. They're just like, oh, the Patriots are good. Let's root. No one roots for the Eagles unless you're from Philadelphia because their fans suck. Good thing we don't have that many listeners, Mike. Otherwise, we might get some hate mail because that's how bad Philadelphia fans suck. But
we can deal with it. All right. So you got the Chiefs. I think that's all right. I mean, I was kind of pulling for Cincinnati to show up in the Super Bowl again, but I guess I'll back you on the Chiefs, and I guess I would like to see them win over the Eagles. But
yeah, my ideal Super Bowl would have been Bengals versus 49ers, just because I think they're just fun to watch. Right? There's no ill will towards the 49ers, and like the Bengals are Cincinnati, so. You can't really root against. It's like if the Browns get there, you can't root against the Browns. They shouldn't be there, but you're not going to root against them. And that Cincinnati is the same way. But anyway, I was rooting for the two teams that lost.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. It's going to be a wild week in Scottsdale for anyone that's going to be out there. It's just going to be an insane scene. Neither of us will be there. We'll be at Disney on Ice this weekend, and I certainly look forward to that. That'll be insane in a different way.
It's gonna get crazy.
We can recap that next week. So we'll there you go. There's our Phoenix Open preview. You can find our content on our YouTube channel, our Twitter feed at RTG Podcast DFS, any of the major podcast platforms. We have new content every Wednesday. And we'll be back in a week to talk about, I don't know, the Super Bowl, Phoenix Open, and preview the Genesis at Riviera. See ya.